Welcome to today's edition of Changing Lives. Now, today we're talking about the different types of characters that you might come across in your everyday life. Now, we spoke about introspection. How does that relate to the different types of people that we see in everyday life?
Well, what is absolutely fascinating is that in 2013, 2014, I was having some banter with one of the HR ladies in one of the organizations that I was busy coaching. And she was all for profiling. And I was quite anti-profiling. But as a good-fashioned A-type that I am, I had to prove myself right. And I went online and I did a whole bunch of profiles of myself. So I did Myers-Briggs and I did DISC and I did a whole bunch. And I came across something called Sales Match. It was in the UK. And it was so incredibly accurate that I phoned up the gentleman's name's Phil Hagen. And actually today, so many years later, he's now my business partner in the UK.
Okay.
And the reason being, it is incredibly accurate. So I built my entire business off the platform of his profiling because it is incredible that there are actually, hold on to something, 48 different types of salespeople, 48 different types of leaders, and by default, 48 different types of skill sets, right? So it's absolutely phenomenal and fascinating. And when I've gone into organizations, I profile the entire organization and I can tell you who fits where and who doesn't. And what often happens is someone will go and they'll apply for an interview when they're very young. So they might be 19, 20 years old, and they get a job. They might be lucky to get that job. It may be that it's the only vacancy, whatever the case might be. Now they've got this job, and it's on their CV. So when they go look for another job, what do they end up doing? The same type of thing. 10 years later, they're deemed a professional in that thing. Was it ever their desired profile? Now, what my experience has shown is that fundamentally, we don't change. So if you start off as a specific profile, that's what you stay. So we've broken the profiles up into animal profiles. Okay. So originally, Phil and I were working on 4 profiles: your dominance, your influence, systems and structure, and then your compliance or need for knowledge, right? And I said to Phil one day, I said, you know, Phil, there's 48 different types of profiles. And now we built the business based on that because that is exactly how they all unpack. And what happens is your fundamental profile never changes. But you adapt. So you'll adapt to an environment, you'll adapt to a situation, you'll adapt to a phase in your life, and you'll marginally change your profile from your fundamental. So as we know, stress occurs when you're not living authentically. But if you don't know what authentic is to you, how are you ever going to live within that space? So what we need to do is we need to understand who you are, and then look at your profile and see how out of alignment of that profile you are specifically. So if I look at mine, of all the 48 different animals, I'm a lion, so I'm the lioness of Africa. And you get a variety. You get peacocks and you get dolphins and Pacific dolphins and so on and so forth. And each one has got a very particular skill set and particular way of existing. Now, as a lion, I'm a dominant influencer. So what you see from me now when I do these shows is my influencer coming through, and my dominant is my driver that makes me do these things, right? Now, I've got a very low S in my profile, which means that I'm a risk taker. I don't like things to be the same, which is why the show is happening. And then I've got something called a flick up C, which means I just need enough information to be comfortable. I don't need too much information. Or if it's interesting, I might do a deep dive into it, but I'm not going to have a well-rounded lots of knowledge because I'll know what I need to know. Okay, now, if you put me into an environment where I've got to be, let's say, for example, capturing data in a small room all day long, I will get very sick because my C will jump up, my S will jump up, my D and my I will drop, and I will be living unauthentically. So we want to align the profile with the person, with the job role, and therefore their happiness.
I love it. So in essence, you need to be authentic because if you don't know who you are, then you might misrepresent the profile that you're actually belonging in. Is that what you're trying to say?
100%. So a happy workforce is a productive workforce, is a successful workforce, and ultimately a very rich company.
So once again, would you agree authenticity is the key to success?
I would agree completely. Authenticity and then all those phases that we've walked through in other episodes that we need to build on. So there are a whole consortium of aspects that we need to bring together. It's definitely one of the keys, and we are going to build on all of those.
Stay true to yourself.